Hey, it's your buddy Peace and Harmony here with you here today. How to get used to being on your own after being so involved, so intertwined, so enmeshed with somebody personality disordered, somebody abusive like a narcissist or a psychopath. Chances are you've been involved with this person for some time and your lives were intertangled with a lot of chaos, a lot of up and down, a lot of drama, a lot of good times, but really a lot of bad times, and a lot of, really dysfunctional and what became emotionally and physical sick times for you. And it's been a challenge now to remove them from your life. It's been difficult. It's hard to rationalize being free of them because of so many good times you had, or the nature of your relationship. Maybe you were married to them, maybe it's a family member, maybe it was a significant other and you had kind of committed your life to them for some reason, and it's just not going to work. And in fact, the divide is getting worse between the two of you with time. That's unfortunately the situation that happens with these people. It's difficult to accept. It's difficult to forgive. However, in healing, I think one of the greatest things about when you can truly heal and when you can truly get to that place, which is a process, it does take time, it does take focused attention and commitment on your end. And it is going to take time, and how long, people ask me, how long is it going to take? Well, each situation is unique, each person is unique, each person's mental processes and their own perspective, it really varies person to person. And the only good solid rule of thumb I can say is, if you've been with them a long time, the longer it's going to take to heal. But the contrary can also be true. You could have been with them for a long time, but it's maybe been building up, and at some point you just snap, the bow breaks, and you know that it's time for you to heal, and you're going to heal. And then you begin to get stronger, you begin to live with conviction again. You might have some anger and some negative emotions, but then largely you're not coming from those anger and negative emotions. You're coming from more of a place of peace and of healing. However, in getting to that stage, it's difficult sometimes to let them go. It's difficult to leave. It's difficult to be on your own. For a lot of women who are used to having somebody, used to living with somebody, used to texting somebody, working with this person, living with this person, going to all sorts of places, sharing friends with them, it's very difficult to adjust and maybe let some of this go and start new, start again. And also the degree into which you have to start again can be either superficial or it can be profound. The extent at which you have to reinvent yourself can be also vary between people. Some people might need to actually physically move. They actually might want to leave that town. They might actually want to leave that city. They might want to leave that job. They might want to leave that relationship. So, the requirements of each situation is unique and different really for each person, and the degree of abuse that each person has experienced. However, you can be sure if it's been experienced with a psychopath, a narcissist, personality disordered person, a borderline, then the extent of your need to heal is going to be greater than just like the typical person who things just didn't work out. And it was funny. Yesterday I was walking and getting my lunch, and then there was a guy walking behind me, good-looking guy, college student. Very intelligent looking, clean cut, Rolex watch on. The guy was pretty suave and debonair, and he was just walking behind me, and he was calling his, potential girlfriend, and he had to just keep explaining and justifying himself why he couldn't get together with this girl. He said the statement over like 5 times. He just kept saying, like, I made dinner with someone else, that seems to be a problem with you. I made dinner with someone else, that seems to be a problem with you. He kept saying it, and he was very cool, calm, collected when he said it, and it was just obviously the girl on the other end, the other college student, did not want to accept it. And sometimes we have to be mature enough to accept the reality that is within our life, and know that this reality is actually for our greatest good and our highest good, and we're actually maybe going to enjoy reality now once this person is out of it. But if you've had a foundation of saying to yourself and believing that, I have to have this person in my life, I cannot exist without this person in my life, that's what they call a fallacy. I mean, it's old school to think that you cannot live without one other person. I mean, how many other people are there out there, that you can be with? But, namely, I would also, take a look at within yourself, what are your fears about being alone? And you need to look at this and examine this and realize that it is okay to be alone. There's nothing wrong with being on your own. There's nothing wrong with being divorced. The statistics are very high there, and it's for a reason. I mean, people get married too soon. It's not the right person. People end up cheating, lying. They're not on the same value wavelength. I mean, there's all sorts of reasons people get divorce. It just did not work out. It is what it is. I mean, that's just where we are today as a society, and you can't carry a stigma about it. There's nothing to be ashamed of. It's just a life lesson that you've learned, and life does go on. And you're not judged for it, so you need to stop, I think really stop judging yourself for that. And also don't surround yourself with other people who judge you because of that, because if those people are casting a judgment, that's erroneous. That's also a fallacy. It's just an opinion. What's your favorite color? Yellow or blue, pink or red. I mean, you know what I'm saying? It's not really a judgment. You should not be subjected to that sort of judgment or let that impair your life or moving forward. So some of the great states, I think, with when it comes to being on your own, you have to realize, a couple things. It's okay to live without abuse. Sometimes being around abuse is so habitual. It is so familiar. It is so much a part of our everyday life that it becomes part of our identity. And our identity is who we think and who we believe that we are. For example, an alcoholic who cannot give up drinking, they believe that they cannot exist without drinking. That's their identity. That's what they believe. That's what they think. So oftentimes, and what we find, with getting through abuse, is that it's okay not to be abused. It is so, and sometimes we're unconscious of this belief acting in our life. Where it's so perpetual, it's so familiar, it's so chronic for some people that it is hard to uproot that experience and function in another environment where the abuse is not ongoing and chronic. And that's actually something we have to learn, that it's okay to be in a peaceful state. It is okay not to be abused. It is okay not to feel guilted into living. It's okay not to be guilted into being a certain way. It's okay to live without guilt. It is okay not to be yelled at. It is okay not to be judged. It is okay not to have things being thrown in your environment. It is okay to live in a situation where doors aren't being slammed. As I said, it's okay, there was an interruption there. It's okay not to live in an environment where doors are being slammed, where you're being yelled at. It's okay not to be yelled at. It's okay to dress how you want to dress. It's okay to pursue a career other than what a family member had intended for you. I mean, we sent you to medical school and you want to be a doctor. We sent you to business school and you want to be a restaurateur. We sent you to law school and you now want to be a naturopath. I mean, do you see what I'm saying? You have to be the one to live your own life, and it's okay to re-identify with some new states of being and some new qualities of being. It's okay not to live where you're constantly being limited by somebody else trying to show you up all the time. Oftentimes the narcissist will constantly need to show up the other person. You know, I'm more talented than you, I'm a better musician, musicians are the only way to be, you're nobody if you're not a musician, you're nobody if you're not X, Y, and Z, A, B, and C, you know, you're less than me because you don't belong to 5 different groups, you know, you're less than me because, you know, you do this and this with your life, or you make this and this money, or you're not into this, that, and this. I mean, those are all judgments, and those people have really no power over you. It is okay not to be overwhelmed. A lot of people get so used to the narcissist and the psychopathic abuse that they're constantly being overwhelmed, and it doesn't feel right if you're not overwhelmed. But yet, when you try to go into certain situations, you know, you feel a deep ingrained sadness and a guilt and a sorrow and a depression and a melancholy that, you know, it causes, you know, breakdowns, crying, you know, emotional outbursts that, you know, become a real difficulty in life. And that is a direct correlation and a direct result to the abuse, the judgment, and the anxiety created from it. So find some new ways for you to feel okay with being on your own. There's nothing wrong with it. It's actually quite vital to your healing, your strength, and moving into a better life for yourself. Peace and harmony here with you here today. I hope these videos help. Please share and subscribe for more great tools, videos, and discussions. Make it a beautiful day.